Okay, and we are live. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Lake City Q&A series. I'm so happy to be joined by House Representative for District 101, Roger Kirby. Roger, welcome back to another semi-annual update.
Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning, Lake City.
So what has been happening in the House since we last spoke back in February?
Well, as you know, we've now gone through the redistricting process and all that's been finalized. We've gone through the primary season and now are moving forward to the upcoming November election season. Our budgets have been finalized. We have completed this 2-year session of Congress of the House of Representatives and the Senate. And we are actually going back in on Tuesday of this coming week for a final sine die session where we're going to be taking up some very critical issues regarding our state's position on abortion since the Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade. So that should be a very impassioned and most likely a very complicated debate we'll be going back into next week. So I just ask all of my friends and fellow Lake Cityans to keep us in prayer as we debate that most important issue, I think, for the state of South Carolina and our future.
Absolutely. And if you're watching this live stream on your phone, on your computer, if you have a question for Roger, we encourage you to go ahead and put that into the chat at this time. At the end, we'll answer any questions you may have for him. And so, Roger, we have a few exciting projects coming up here, and some you've helped us out with in the House. One of those being the wastewater treatment plant lab. As you know, we had the groundbreaking last month as that's being renovated. Can you elaborate a little bit more about the process and all that?
Absolutely. Infrastructure still remains one of the most critical components of our success, not only for the public health of our region, but also for our economic development potential for the region. And this is just a shining example of what can happen when we work together for common purpose, when we work together to make positive changes for our area and for our region. That wastewater treatment facility is something that has been needed, that expansion. And we are just excited to have been able to play our small part in helping with funding and certainly look forward to the future benefits that'll bring to our citizens and to our region for continued growth. And so, yeah, we're real excited about that, Jonathan. And I was happy to be there at the groundbreaking and look forward to that completion.
Absolutely. And another exciting project that's being worked on as we speak, and hopefully there'll be a groundbreaking for this soon, will be out on Cole Road. There's going to be a community center coming. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I know you had a big part in helping us.
Yes. And this is something that Mayor Anderson, this was his brainchild. And boy, it was just really rewarding for me to be able to bring some money home for that from Columbia. I actually received an earmark of $250,000 from the state budget to assist in beginning to move that forward. Obviously, there's some more work to do, but we are excited to have that first step for what we anticipate to be an important asset for our youth, for Lake City's youth, to give them a location where they can come and enjoy and grow and learn and be nurtured in their time here. So excited to be a part of that. Look forward to the fruits that'll bring as we move forward. And I know I spoke to Administrator Hall. There's still some future planning that still has to be done, but we're well on the way to making that a reality. So I'm excited to have participated in that, Jonathan.
I'm excited too, especially for the future of Lake City, and we'll get with that in a moment. But as you mentioned about the youth programs, as you know, this past weekend, we hosted Lake City Snack Down. That was the
Absolutely.
Had over 100 people attend that. So we are very excited about that. We have different youth programs. We have a Girl Scout troop coming, a Boy Scout troop coming, Police Explorers, and we announced this morning that on October 8th, we will be hosting a masquerade ball to benefit the youth programs. So as we talk about the youth, why is it important, Roger, for our youth to be involved in the community?
Well, the youth are our future. The youth are the ones that are going to either make all the work that we're doing now a success or a failure. And it's up to us to be sure that we are promoting a good citizenship, that we're promoting learning, that we're promoting fellowship, and just, taking care and letting our youth know how important they are to us and to our future. Because they are our future, Jonathan. And I applaud the city for all of the steps they're taking to really enhance the youth and the youth lives in Lake City and the surrounding area.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you are interested in purchasing tickets for the Masquerade Ball, tickets start at $25. I'll post a link here in the comment section in just a little bit. Speaking in comment section, if you have any questions for Roger, I see we have about 8 of us watching live at the moment. We had about 16 earlier. If you have a question for Roger, please go ahead and put that in the chat pod. He would love to answer it. In addition, with the Masquerade Ball, there's going to be a silent auction to help raise money for the youth programs. And there's going to be some very nice items. I've seen some of them already. I know some that I might be interested in, Roger. I'm sure there's some that you'd be interested in. There's going to be a buffet. The Flavor Big Band, I believe, is the band that's going to be performing. There's going to be live music. It's going to be a great time. There's going to be a ball, literally. So, we'll post the ticket link through Eventbrite. It's a $25 donation if you want tickets start at that. And there's also private tables available if you wish to donate towards that. All right, so I'm gonna give everybody just a moment to see if they have any questions in the chat pod. So Roger, I asked you this last time, and I'm gonna ask you this every time we meet. What is your future vision for Lake City?
Wow. Lake City has become really a hub for this, this MSA, our region here. Lake City now boasts about a 50,000 population MSA, which is incredible. That allows us to continue to do good things for our rural areas that surround us. And there are just so many good things that I'm excited about moving forward. As you know, this new House District 101 includes Lake City and vast portions of Williamsburg County and even portions of Berkeley County. And there are just so many things that we can do as a region together moving forward. One prime example, one shining example, is a new hospital that's being built that will be open this year coming up. The new MUSC Black River Healthcare Facility is going to be an incredible asset for all of our area, and certainly something that I'm extremely proud that we were able to work together to get done between Williamsburg County Hospital and Lake City Community Hospital, coming together to provide state-of-the-art healthcare for our residents and for our surrounding residents. So that's just one example. But I think that, I believe that it's incumbent on all of us to continue to work toward the future. And that's with all these youth programs that the city has initiated. And there's so many other citizens that are doing things, positive things for our area and for our youth and for our communities. And I'm just proud to be a part of that, Jonathan. And really, there's one thing I do want to mention because I think it's important. I was at an economic development summit this past week, just talking about ways that we can increase our economic development, our growth, to become, players. one of the things that came up in it, I had never really considered it, quite frankly. But one of the presenters at that summit talked about, if you drive into an area, if you drive into a new area as an economic development prospect, what do you see? He talked a lot about gateways. And one of the things that came up that just struck me was the litter issue. And that's something I just feel like we all deserve and need to really think about. I know that there's been community groups that continue to do trash pickup and litter pickup days and cleanup days for the city, and those are very important. But we really need to raise public awareness in our area about how damaging littering our roadways is for not only our local residents, but for our prospects for economic development. When people come here, we want them to see us as a shining example, a shining town, a shining city. And this litter issue seems to be a continual problem that I just, I feel strongly about that, and it certainly is evident that it's an important deterrent for economic development. I know that's not something I hadn't thought of, quite frankly, but when it was presented in this economic development summit as one of the primary first impressions are important, and it's incumbent on all of us to be involved in that first impression of our town and of our area. So I just wanted to mention that, and thank you for letting me take a minute to say that.
Absolutely. And we have a couple of questions that have come across. One of about going back to economic development, how do we attract outside businesses to existing infrastructure here in Lake City?
And exactly what we're talking about. That's what I've been talking about. I think that, obviously we've got to, there are several, basically leg stools of economic development. One is the educational system, to be sure that our students that are getting an education where that they can be productive employees, if they so decide, for industry. Manufacturing is something that we've lost so much of our manufacturing, but manufacturing is returning to the state of South Carolina. And I just hope that we will continue to do the work that's necessary to increase our infrastructure, just like this water and sewer project. That's a big thing. Expansion of water services to our surrounding and outlying areas, expansion of our sewer to outlying areas. We've got this big Scranton Industrial Park that the county, and it's a county, and of course there's some other corporate sponsorship with that. That's a big deal. That's potentially a game changer for us. And I'm excited that we've been able to allocate some funding to get that Scranton Industrial Park completed. That's a bit of a longer term thing, but it's the possibilities of that are incredible. If we could land a 500 to 600 employee type industry, or even larger, what would that do for our area? It would be incredible. Mm-hmm. And those are the kinds of initiatives we got to keep working on. But again, we have to be proactive as citizens, because it's on all of us to promote our city, to promote our educational systems, to promote our visual impact of the city, with simple things like, let's clean it up. And I know the city's got some initiatives where they're going in and cleaning up some abandoned homes and that type thing, and cleaning up neighborhoods. Those are wonderful initiatives. We just have to continue to build on that. The thing that we have to remember with economic development, we can set the table. We have to set the table for industry who's interested in looking. And we have to make ourselves as attractive to those industries as we can. It's not up to someone who's working as an economic development director to direct business to us. That's not the way it works. We have to be a place where business wants to come.
Absolutely.
And that's up to us to continue in these efforts. And listen, it's hard work, but it's good work, because when we make positive changes for our city and for our region, then we all benefit.
Mhm. Absolutely. And of course, one of the initiatives the city has just announced a few weeks ago is the signing of the affordable housing program.
Yes.
That help. So if a manufacturer were to come to Lake City, there's homes available for those who are looking to relocate to the area. And so another question, Roger, we had come across is, as you mentioned earlier about redistricting, many of us, if not all of us, received new voter ID cards
Yes.
this year. And so somebody asked, they would just want to know a little bit more about the process going up about that.
So with the redistricting, there were a number of changes done to voter polling places and that type thing that didn't impact Lake City as much as it did some other areas. But as part of that, just for clarity, voter identification cards have been sent out to registered voters just to confirm, so they know where their polling locations are. This is part of a statewide initiative. There was a fairly significant amount of money placed into our voter registration and voter systems in the state of South Carolina. That was one of the initiatives. We just want to be sure that our residents know where they're supposed to go vote, because there have been significant changes through the 2020 census and the redistricting that followed. And that's just an effort to be sure that we can all freely exercise our right to vote, which is one of the most important rights that we have as citizens. So that initiative is part of that overall process.
Absolutely. And we thank everybody for the questions they put into the chat pod today. Roger, we thank you so much for taking time again to join us for your semi-annual legislative update. And a couple of news and notes. We'll be back with another episode of the Lake City Q&A series in 2 weeks from today. Mary Kelly from the Chamber of Commerce will be joining us. It'll be the weekend of the Tobacco Festival, so she's going to give us a preview on that. And we confirmed right before we got on the air, Hometown Legislative Action Day will be in February. That following Friday on February 10th, Roger is going to join us again. So we look forward to that. And I think we got one more question that just popped in. It says, we have one person wants to know about, what are your thoughts about a homeless shelter coming to Lake City to help with people who may be facing eviction or just does not have a full-time place to go?
That's something I haven't really, that hasn't been something that's been discussed. I certainly would be open to understanding that need more fully. I know that there are a number of federal programs and federal dollars available through the Biden administration to help with that. I think that the city, I know, has had some conversations about establishing a homeless kind of a shelter, a place, a haven, if you will, a sanctuary, so that we can help these people get back on their feet. One thing that we need to talk a little bit about is mental health. We've got a very big void of mental health services. And one of the things that we worked real hard on in this year's budget in the state was increasing funding significantly for mental health care. $61.5 million was put in the state budget, additional funds to try to get some more capacity. And the mental health care services, particularly in the rural areas of the state, are lacking, and we've got to do a better job. That in itself sometimes creates some of these homeless issues that we see. A number of our homeless are suffering from mental health illnesses, and we need to do a better job of reaching out and trying to help these people so they can get back on their feet and become productive members of our town and our city and our region.
Absolutely. And I think that is it. Once again, Roger, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. God bless you. I hope we're fixing to get into some cooler days, and looking forward to getting out, and football's started back up. So I'm excited about that. And just y'all keep up the good work. I'm so proud of Mayor Anderson and his leadership. I know that he is not planning on seeking re-election, I understand. And he, he's just done a great job, and he deserves a lot of credit and recognition for the hard work he's put in to moving our city forward. So I appreciate you, Jonathan. Thank you for the opportunity to share some of this information, and I look forward to speaking to you and to all of our residents. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime if there's something that I can help you with or a question that you need answered. I appreciate the opportunity to serve you, and look forward to continuing this in District 101 as we move forward.
Absolutely. And what's the best way for those who want to get in contact with you to reach you?
The best email address for me is rogerkirby61@gmail. ROGERKIRBY, the number 6 and the number 1 @gmail.com. Of course, you can reach out to me on my cell number, 843-598-0775. And I'm not afraid to give out my cell number. I am your representative, and I don't mind speaking to you about issues that you may have. So thank you for the opportunity to serve. And my offices, my local office here, of course, is Kirby Realty right here in Lake City. If we can help y'all with any real estate needs as our business, that's what we do. So we're right at 133A East Main Street in Lake City.
Right down the road from me.
Right down the road. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you so much, Roger. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to today's episode of the Lake City Q&A series. We'll see you in 2 weeks.